So we've just got through talking about solving linear equalities by addition and subtraction, and that does not change the direction of the inequality. We deal with that just like we would do with a regular equation, and we can also multiply or divide both sides of an inequality by the same positive number, and it will not change. If we divide by a negative number, that's something different. We'll cover that in just a moment. But we can multiply or divide both sides of an inequality by the same positive number, and that does not change the direction of the inequality. So let's take a look at number 5 over here. So I want to solve for x. I need to remove the 6. It's 6 times x, so the opposite of times is divide. So just like an equation, we would divide both sides by 6. And I get 6 over 6 is 1. 1 times x is just x, and that's going to be less than 12 divided by 6 is 2. And there we go. So we find our number line here. So we'll find 0. And I could put 0 anywhere. I could put it over here. And I could put 2 anywhere to the right of 0. Since it's going to be, remember, if I've got my variable on the left, this is the direction that I'm going to shade in. It's going to be to the left of 2. But not equal to 2 because there's not an equal sign. So I put an open circle there. And I'm going to shade to the left of 2. There you go. Number 6, so that was dividing. Okay, here I have x divided by 2 is greater than or equal to 10. So what I want to do is I want to multiply both sides by 2, because this is x divided by 2. The opposite of division was multiplication. So I'll multiply both sides by 2. So 2 times that and 2 times that. 2 over 2 is 1, so we just have x on the left. Now that's going to be greater than or equal to. And 10 times 2 is 20. So we have to put this on our number line, and this is the nice thing about having it blank like this, because I'm not restricted by where I can put my 0 or my 20. So I can put my 0, since it's going to be greater than 20, I'm going to put my 0 a little bit to the left over here, so I'll have room. So here's 0. I'm not going to put 1, because if I put 1, I know where 20 is going to be. It's going to be maybe even off my line, so I'll just put 20 anywhere to the right of 0. I know 20 is greater than 0, so I'll put 20 over here. And now I'm set. Once I've got those two numbers, if I wanted to put 1 in, it would have to be 1/20th of the distance between 0 and 20. We call that in geometry the ruler postulate. Okay, but we're not going to deal with that. We're just going to deal with the 20, and this is x will be greater than or equal to 20. That means it's going to be a dot at 20 and all the numbers to the right of 20. And that's going in that direction. See, as long as the variable's on the left, this tells me the direction. And there you go. Okay. Some other examples where we can multiply or divide both sides of an equation by the same positive number. Does not change the direction of the inequality. So here's some more. This number 7. So we can either multiply by 2 and divide, we could multiply by 3 and divide by 2 and do it 2 steps, or we can use the reciprocals and just save ourselves a step. So that's what I choose to do here. So I want to solve for x. I want to get rid of the 2/3. I'll just multiply both sides by the reciprocal, which is 3/2. Times and times 3 over 2. So 2 times 3 is 6. 3 times 2 is 6, 2 times 3 is 6, 6 over 6 is 1, or the 3's cross canceling, whatever you want to think about it. And we have just on the left x. Now since I'm multiplying by a positive number, it does not change the direction of the inequality, so that's going to be less than. And then 2 goes into 6, 3 times 3 is 9. Or 3/2 is like 1 and 1/2, 1/2 times 6 is 9. So x is less than 9. So on my number line, I'll find 0. I can put 0 anywhere. And I could put the 9 anywhere to the right of 0. It's positive, so I could put the 9 over here. And then I'm going to put a circled 9, and this is the direction. All the numbers to the left of 9. X is less than 9. There you go. Take it all the way to the end because it goes all the way out to negative infinity. Okay, over here, 5/4 x. So I want to solve for x. I'll just use the reciprocal. I'll multiply both sides by 4 over 5. So 4 over 5 times 5 over 4, those are reciprocal, so that just becomes 1. So I have x on the left. Since I'm multiplying by a positive number, I don't have to change the direction of the inequality. And a negative times a positive is a negative. And I've got 4 over 5 times negative 8. So negative 8 times 4 is 32. So I've got 32 over 5. And there we go. So we have a fraction, but don't worry about it. It's going to be greater than or equal to negative 32 over 5. Now, if I had a grid on here and I would want to place this, I know that 5 goes into 32 6 times. So it would be 6 2/5 or 6.4. So I know it would be between 6 and 7. But I don't really need to worry about that. If I leave it as an improper fraction, I'll just find 0. I know it's going to be greater than negative 32 over 5. And that's going to be a negative, so that's going to be to the left of 0. So I'll put my 0, I can put my 0 anywhere. I can put it over here. And I actually can put my negative 32 over 5ths anywhere as long as it's to the left of 0. So I can put it over here. Now remember, I don't have a grid on here, so I don't have the markings on here, so I don't really need to place this. If I did have markings out here like negative 1, negative 2, negative 3, negative 4, I know that this would go somewhere between negative 6 and negative 7, because that's going to be 6.5 goes into 32 6 times and 2/5, so about 6.4. So that would be between 6 and 7, but I don't have that, so I can just mark it like this. It's going to be greater than, so it's going to be shaded to the right. It's pointing in the direction that's shading because my variable's on the left. And it's going to be equal to, so I can put a dot there. And that's what we've got. So again, we can multiply or divide both sides of an inequality by the same positive number, and it doesn't change the direction of the inequality. So adding, subtracting any number from both sides of an inequality is like an equation, and multiplying or dividing by a positive number is just like an equation. Now if it's negative, if we're going to multiply or divide by a negative number, that's a different story. We'll go into that in the next video.